This Auburn team has never seen an offense like the Baylor Bears.
You are Locked On Baylor, your daily podcast on the Baylor Bears. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello there, Bears fans. Welcome to another episode of Locked On Baylor, but more importantly, welcome to game day, people. Golly, we've been waiting a long time, man. 7 months and 4 weeks since the last time the Baylor Bears strapped on the helmets and played a game of football that actually counted for something. Man, it is good to be back. I'm your host, Cam Stuart of ESPN Central Texas and the Cam Show on YouTube. Appreciate you guys making it your first listen today and every day. Today, we will go over why this Auburn team has not seen an offense like Baylor's. All the talk about Baylor's never seen a defense like Auburn's. Let's flip the script on them. And then we'll tell you how Baylor will pull the upset. I'm going to debunk some of the things that Auburn fans want you to worry about as a Baylor fan that you shouldn't worry about. And then some of the things that maybe we should worry about for game one. And then the final prediction. All that and more coming up on this jam-packed game day edition of Locked On Baylor. Whew. Let's start where we start. It is a battle. The immovable object versus the unstoppable force, whatever it is, okay? You've got a legit top 20 defense, it looks like, against a legit top 20 offense, it looks like. And then on the other side, you've got a completely unproven offense and a completely unproven defense. This is going to be fascinating. But I know so many of you have heard this. You've heard it in the crossover shows. You have heard it in the comments of these videos. If you're watching on YouTube, you've seen it on social media. Oh, Baylor's never seen a defense like this Auburn Tigers group that led them to a stout 5-7 last year. Yeah, they didn't win many games, but damned if they weren't in all of them. Yeah, I don't remember that really being a good rallying cry for Baylor 2 years ago when they were 3-9, but Auburn's using it at 5-7. We were in all of those. All of them. And all I've heard is that Baylor's never seen a defense like Auburn. And they point to the record against top 60 defenses last year that Baylor had. It was 1-4. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on in the show. And then Grayson Grundhoefer, Sikkim 365, pulls out the stat of stats, stat of the week, to debunk this theory. Like, okay, maybe Baylor hasn't seen a defense like Auburn's. Again, they played 5 top 60 defenses last year. It's not like they didn't play anybody. 4 top 40 defenses, 5 in the top 60. And so the question shouldn't be about the defense that Baylor is seeing for the first time. It should be about the offense that Auburn's defense has not seen. How about this stat from Grundhoefer? Just electric. Auburn defenses versus 4 top 50 offenses in 2024. That's a decent sample size, right? That's a third of your games against top 50 offenses. They allowed 31 per game. Auburn defenses in the 8 games versus offenses outside of the top 50 or Group of 5 FCS programs in 2024, they allowed 16.5 points per game. So all I hear about is Baylor's offense isn't good when they face a good defense. And realistically, Auburn's defense wasn't very good when they played a good offense. And Grundhoefer, mic drop at the end of this, Baylor would have been the highest scoring offense that Auburn faced all of last year. They haven't seen anything like this. And just like they add the personnel, and Auburn's so much better defensively from last year, Baylor added personnel too. They might be a better offensive team than last year. Sans Johnson Pendergrass, but add Kobe Prentice, add a full-time on-the-field Michael Trigg, add another year of Josh Cameron and Ashton Hawkins, add Lewis Brown IV, who Dave Aranda can't stop raving about. Maybe the worry should be on the other side. Bottom line is these are 2 legit top 20 units, man. This is where people are going to tune in. Baylor offense, Auburn defense. And I think Baylor's going to win the football game. I think they're going to win it, weirdly enough, by beating Auburn at their own game. Okay? In a weird, backwards, twisted way, they're going to do that. What has Dave Aranda said about this Auburn team? The best thing they do is run the football. I think Baylor's going to be more effective running the football. That doesn't mean they're going to go for 250 yards. In fact, they might not even get more rush yards than Auburn, but they're going to be more effective at it. They're going to do better holding the ball, killing the clock with it. They're going to soften up that soft middle of the Auburn defense. And there are going to be times where they're going to spread it out and they're going to go right down your throat. I expect to see some design quarterback runs for Sawyer Robertson, which we only saw here and there last year. Short yardage situations. I think we're going to see some more of that. And if Baylor can keep Jackson Arnold in the pocket, which is an if, I mean, Jackson, that's the thing he's good at. But if Baylor can run the ball more effectively than Auburn can, they're going to win this game. And I just see so many options on this Baylor side of the field. I know Auburn's got their options too in terms of receiver, but Baylor's got so many. Man, and they've got a pretty solid offensive line unit too. It's not top 10 in America, but it's pretty good. And they're going to be able to run the ball effectively, I think. Bryson Washington between the tackles, Caden Knighton coming out party, Lewis Brown coming out party, Kobe Prentice exacting a little Iron Bowl revenge on the Auburn Tigers. I am so jacked for this game, man. I'm so excited that it's finally here. Not enough to say, boy, I just hope for a good game, but I'm so excited that this is back, man. And we've gotten to the point where I need Baylor to win this game. Need it. Don't just want it. Absolutely need it. And if I tallied up the record that Baylor had in games where I needed them to win, it would get the head coach fired. I'll just say that. They lose a lot more than they win in the games where I'm like, Baylor, I got to have this. I got to have this. But this is falling into the I got to have this territory. This has been a lot of fun. This back and forth. I've had a lot of fun with the crossovers with Zach and Locked On Auburn. I know you might not be able to tell from the episodes. I love Zach, man. He's the best, and he does an awesome job with that show. And having the Auburn fans here has been great. But I need this game to be over. I need Baylor to win this thing. I really do, because I'm sick of the talk, just like you guys are. I'm sick of the back and forth. I'm sick of the, oh, well, this position group should be better because I think it's going to be better. Like, I'm sick of that. Whether Auburn has more talent, I don't know if, I don't even know how relevant that is for this game. Like, Baylor has a proven commodity. And you guys might think it's not as good as Auburn because they don't have SEC on their jersey. I've got people saying that Vanderbilt would finish in the top 4 in this conference. Like, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. There is so much copium on that side of the country, that SEC country, that you just put them in any other conference and they'd win 10 games. Like, it is time for Baylor to show something here. It's time for the Big 12 to show something. Anyway, I'm going to debunk some of the other theories as to what could hold Baylor back. And then we're going to actually go over what could hold Baylor back in this game. We'll give you both sides of it. That's coming up next on Locked On Baylor. But first, today's episode is brought to you by our good friends over at Game Time. College football is back. I couldn't be more excited, man. The tailgates, the sailgates, the rivalries, the energy in McLean Stadium, there's nothing like it. But let's be real. Actually getting tickets can feel like more of a battle than the game itself. The endless queues, the hidden fees, the prices jumping at checkout. It stinks. But that's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the easiest way to score last-minute tickets at the best prices with no surprise fees. What you see is what you pay. I pull up Game Time in just a couple of taps. I saw amazing deals. In fact, my dad wanted to go with to the Red Sox game with me tonight. I said, I can't. Baylor-Auburn. He's like, Paul Skeens. And I'm like, look, just use Game Time. And this is no joke. He's like, this was the best recommendation I've gotten in a long time. he got awesome tickets to see Paul Skeens pitch at Fenway Park. So take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time. Get there tonight and wear black if you need someone to push you to get there. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. Back here on Locked On Baylor, just as we are 5 days a week on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts as well. Follow the show on X at Locked On Baylor and myself at Real Cam Stuart. They're two of the same, to be totally honest with you. But find that there. We're going to have stream of consciousness tweets for sure during tonight's game. And with a win, I'll be insufferable. With a loss, I will crash out live on YouTube after the game. So definitely check out your YouTube settings, tap the notification settings, get notified every time we're going live, or check out on Twitter. We'll drop the thumbnail in there and the link to follow the post-game show. And before I get more into this game, I do have to talk trivia answer because I didn't do it yesterday because it was the crossover edition. So we do have an answer to Wednesday's trivia question. And that question was this: when was the last time the Baylor Bears beat an SEC team in the regular season? An SEC team then, SEC team now. I gave you a bit of a hint by saying it was a Southwest Conference Baylor team. So before 1996. That answer was obtained first by a loyal listener. I think it's Alien UFO pilot official. Okay, who's in the comment section after every episode. So appreciate you, UFO pilot official. That answer might shock some people. The last time Baylor beat an SEC opponent in a regular season game, they've done it quite a few times in the Bowls since then, September the 17th, 1977, a 21-6 win at home over the Kentucky Wildcats. It's been a long time. Can Baylor end that streak tonight? Let's talk about that. So shout out to you, UFO pilot official. We'll bring that back. I don't want to do it on a game day one like this because I'm going to have, a post game. I might forget about it. I don't want to do that. So we will save that for a later date for our next trivia question. Anyway, let's get back into this game. Baylor-Auburn tonight. Friday night lights, baby. Nothing like it. Fox, RG3, McLean Stadium, sailgating, Baylor line, everything that you love building up to this game tonight. One of the things that I'm sure a lot of you have seen from Auburn fans as well, that I understand why they bring it up. Like, this is not a knock necessarily, but a lot of them bring up Sawyer Robertson and how he does against good defenses, right? Like really good defenses, which Auburn should have. We had this discussion in a little panel on Discord with Baylor Heisman Trophy winner Robert Griffin III. I was on that. We had Colt Barber and Grayson, who I talked about earlier. Grayson Crewhafer was on it, and a couple of guys who cover Auburn as well. And they said that. They said, like, look, obviously the biggest advantage position-wise for Baylor is quarterback. It's the most important position on the field, but Sawyer Robertson, what he's proven so far and how he did last year makes him a much better quarterback than Jackson Arnold going into this game. And the question was, is it a fluke? Because Baylor's record against top 60 defenses last year was 1-4. 4 of their 5 losses came against top 60 defenses. Brutal. And Sawyer Robertson's worst game of the year came against one of those top 60 defenses, top 40 in total defense. That would be the Houston Cougars. But when you parse through it, you realize that just saying Sawyer Robertson stinks against top 60 defenses because Baylor was 1-4 against such defenses doesn't exactly add up. First off, one of them was Utah. Sawyer Robertson did not play in that game. I think he played one play when DeQuan Finn got banged up. That was it. Didn't play in that game. Houston, he threw 3 picks. It was his worst game of the year. No doubt. But also, he threw 2 touchdowns and they won the game. After the season he was having, he was due for 1 clunker, and they still won the game. The other ones, BYU, they lost that game. Was it Sawyer Robertson's fault? Absolutely not, man. Absolutely not. He threw for 300 yards in that game, threw 3 touchdowns in that game, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. Or how about LSU? SEC defense, top 60 total defense in America. Yeah, he threw for 450 in that game. And they lost by 2 touchdowns. They had 2 touchdowns called back. Doesn't mean they should win the game, right? Retroactively. But to say that Sawyer Robertson can't play against top 60 defenses is a farce. It's nonsensical. It doesn't add up. What does add up was the fact that Baylor completely changed for the better when Sawyer Robertson was there and took over. And that BYU game, again, not Sawyer Robertson's fault. And they didn't even have a run game yet. Remember? Like, that offensive line was not a finished product. That run game was not a finished product, which I almost forgot. The other game was Iowa State, which they lost handily. They didn't have the run game. They didn't have the offensive line, and Iowa State really took advantage of that. And Sawyer was meh in that game, and it was his 3rd start, 4th start maybe. He was still pretty green. They had not opened up the playbook for him. And then the next week, he crushes Tech, and the rest is history. I'm not worried about Sawyer Robertson against a top 60 defense. Maybe even against a top 30, top 20 defense. I'm not worried about it long term. I'm just not. I think Sawyer's that good. I really do. There's some ways to get after him. We'll see if Auburn can make the most of it. We talked about it on the panel, the 2 high safety blitz. Let's see. We got to see it play out. But again, I'm not going to be one of those people that's like, well, Auburn's athletic, so obviously they're going to be much better than last year. I'm sure that's what Auburn fans thought last year and the year before that. It didn't work. What does concern me, and it's a big concern, is still the back end of Baylor's defense. That secondary was not great last year, and I don't know if I could look at the depth chart and say that there are tangible improvements to it, to be honest with you. Carl Williams hurt. I already went over that on the show the other day, how important I think that can be, that Carl Williams is not in this game to play against Auburn's run attack specifically. But looking at the rest of this defense, I like the way it lines up in the front 7. DK Kalu at nose tackle allows Cooper Lands to go on the edge. Him and Devontae Tizzino, who was great in the spring camp. I said it last year. Cooper Lands was playing nose tackle for half the year, and that's just not his position. He's just not big enough for that. He's an effective player. He needs to be playing on the edge. That's where he's going to be this year. Keaton Thomas, man. Hugh Freeze raving about Keaton Thomas. I should have got the soundbite, but he said that's an SEC player right there. That's high praise. SEC is basically the NFL as far as I'm concerned. So that's pretty high praise. But you look at the back end. Without Carl Williams, you have a free safety in there who is probably going to be playing their first game for Baylor. I imagine it's going to be Tyler Turner. That seems to be the hot name. Tevin Williams moves up the depth chart over Caden Jenkins at corner. I was not expecting that because Caden Jenkins was, at times last year, still the same Caden Jenkins. He was their best corner the year before that. He still has the single-digit number, so he's showing a lot to the coaching staff, not listed as a starter. Kendrick Simpkins, we're going to see him in the nickel. That's going to be more of the star position. Would love to see some more Kendrick Simpkins up there, although I thought he'd be at free safety. DJ Coleman will also get some snaps in there as well. Kylan Reed over Phoenix Jackson, potentially. That's an or position at the Rover, or like the Jack. And then Keaton Thomas, Travion Barnes in the middle, I think is fantastic. But again, that back end, LeVar Thornton playing over Calvin Simpson-Hunt, Tevin Williams playing over Caden Jenkins. No shade to those starters. But if you had asked me last week who's going to be the starting cornerbacks, I would have said Caden Jenkins and Calvin Simpson-Hunt. Not the case. They have been relegated to backups in both of those. So we'll see how much we see those guys. But obviously going up against Auburn's receivers, if you give Jackson Arnold time and space, that could kill you. Those receivers are that good. I believe that. So are Baylor's, by the way. If Sawyer Robertson gets time and space, yeah, that could kill Auburn as well. Let's talk about the final details of this game and the final prediction coming up next on Locked On Baylor. Hey, let me ask you something. You still paying full price for gas? Why would you? Why would you? Stop leaving money behind. Get real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today. Use the limited time promo code FOOTBALL and get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You can make up to $300 a year just from buying gas you already needed. At first, I thought it was too good to be true, but no, seriously, it's legit. Real people are getting paid real money just to make their daily commutes, and you can too. Plus, you can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. So don't let this offer drive on by. Download the free Upside app now using my limited time promo code FOOTBALL, the thing the high schools are playing tonight, for a limited 25 cent per gallon bonus. That's promo code FOOTBALL, the thing Baylor's playing tonight. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. And now the end is near, and so I face the final segment. Final segment before Baylor and Auburn finally kick it off. This game has had my head in a pretzel, unlike probably any other game I have covered for Baylor on this show. And this is season number 3. Okay, there's been some ones where Baylor's really bad. There's been some ones where Baylor's pretty damn good. There's been ones I've been right. There's ones I've been wrong. This one has thrown me for a loop. Because I am sick of how the Auburn people just think, oh, we're Auburn, so we're better than last year, with nothing really to base it off of. You know, PFF grades, preseason. Like, if we're going to be the two fan bases that say, well, preseason polls don't matter for anything, and then say, well, yeah, preseason FPI and ESPN Index and PFF, they all count for something. I don't like that. That's why in week ones, I usually go with the proven commodity. Okay? It's why I'd probably put my money on the Texas Longhorns, unfortunately. I don't want to do that either, but it's the same reason why I'm going to put my money on the Baylor Bears. Playing at home, where they're significantly better in the Dave Aranda era than they are on the road, especially if you take out the 23 season where they were bad everywhere. Usually significantly better at home. I think the most important positions on the field, Baylor has solidified, and Auburn does not. Okay. Pass rusher, Auburn's got it. Keldrick Falk, for sure. Number one receiver, yep. Josh Cameron's pretty good, but Cam Coleman's very, very good. Right? But I'm talking quarterback, checkmark Baylor. Running back, especially for a team in Auburn that wants to run the football down your throat, checkmark Baylor. Linebackers, checkmark Baylor. Front seven, honestly, from what I've seen and these guys that I know, checkmark Baylor. It's really close. Offensive line, probably checkmark Auburn, but it's pretty close. I think it's closer than a lot of people think. Again, I think Baylor's going to control the run game more than Auburn will. And I think about this new Dave Aranda and these disguises, these fronts that he's going to throw at Jackson Arnold, who was confused all of last year. I think that's advantage Baylor. You know, you want to get down the Dave Aranda, Hugh Freeze debate. Look, there's plenty of crap on both sides, right? There's plenty you can point to for wins and mostly for losses. But if you want to talk about a guy who can come out there and scheme up a game plan, I like Dave Aranda in that. I like Dave Aranda being able to scheme up a game plan to make Jackson Arnold's life hell. Because I've seen it before. When Dave has had control over it, I've seen it before. I've seen it against Caleb Williams. I've seen it against Spencer Sanders. And Jackson Arnold right now is a lot more like Spencer Sanders in his career than he is Caleb Williams. They tied one hand behind those guys' backs and say, beat us through the air. Baylor's going to say, beat us through the air. They're not going to play a lot of man defense like they usually do because I think they'll get burned. But they're going to say, Jackson Arnold, we're going to put a lot of pressure on you. We're going to make you beat us with your golden right arm. And if you can be 5-star Jackson Arnold rather than the Jackson Arnold that we have seen in his college career, then tip the cap. They beat you fair and square. But I think Dave Aranda is going to take that chance. And the other thing that worries me, how many times in the Aranda tenure have we heard, yeah, we just weren't ready today. We weren't ready to play. This is when you got to be ready to play week 1. This is probably the best returning group of starters that Dave Aranda's had since 2021. The time is now. I'm not backing off my prediction. I'm saying Baylor 28, Auburn 20. Let me know your score predictions in the comment section below. And by the way, it's probably going to be a Josh Cameron punt return. That's really going to be the difference in this game. Mark that down. Bet on it if you can. But let me know your score predictions in the comment section below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're now on the path towards 5,000 subscribers. We've already hit 4,000. So definitely help us out in getting there. We're the only place giving you exclusively Baylor football content 5 days a week that's not coming straight from the university. It's coming completely for free. So join us post-game, late night, post-game live here on YouTube. And then, of course, wherever you get your podcasts as well. The next time we talk, Baylor will have played a football game. And even if they lose, that's at least a good thing. We don't have to talk about coulda, woulda, shoulda anymore. So like, subscribe, get involved in that comment section, and let me thank you for making it your first listen today and every day. We will see you on the post-game edition of your favorite show, Locked On Baylor.